Brothers and sisters, may the Lord grant you peace. Peace and all good on this, the 19th Sunday of Ordinary Time. We begin by where we left off last week with that picnic for 1,000+ people that was offered uh, in very, very scarce quantities, very scarce. But we see some divine activity, the possibility of a divine abundance coming. The same thing now with today's parable. We see the hand of Jesus reaching out, okay, in many, many different ways, different situations, because he loves us despite our weaknesses. And so we go from a nice picnic of 5,000 plus to now the turbulence that we're feeling uh, when we have to look to the future uh, and uh, and still not sure as to where the future is bringing us. So Jesus is now sending his disciples away in a boat, pushing them off for missionary activity. But Jesus stays behind. He will be distant from them. Now he is alone. He leaves and ascends the mountain. And we should know what that is symbolizing. The mountain will always remind us of closeness to God, and opens himself to the Father in prayer. He is close to God, the Father, but he's far away from the disciples. They are out in the open, on the open sea, strugglingly, the social forces that resist the teachings of Jesus, while openly persecuting the disciples. They are in trouble, and Jesus is not physically with them. And so Jesus is at prayer, and through prayer, he is in the presence of God. And through the presence of God, Jesus is able to be with his disciples. We should know that because that's what we believe. This is our faith. And after the death and resurrection of Jesus, he was not with them physically, but through the power of God, spiritually present. And this spiritual presence of the risen Christ is important, especially when we find ourselves, as did the disciples, in times of crisis. And so this picture of the Lord going after Peter, sinking with courage, is a training lesson in faith and fearlessness. So Jesus comes to the disciples walking on the waves. He strides over the waves rather than sinking beneath them. The winds appear not to hinder Jesus. It is the risen Lord himself coming to the aid of his disciples through the power of God. And so the disciples mistake Jesus coming to the rescue as they see a ghost coming toward them. The usual way of identifying Jesus by physical description is not happening here. They see Jesus and respond with a knee-jerk reaction, and they categorize him as a ghost. Jesus immediately corrects their mistake. It's not a ghost they are seeing. It's not a ghost they are encountering. Their fear is misplaced. Jesus identifies himself as I am. Translated, it is I. It assures the disciples it is not an illusion. They are in the presence of the real Jesus, in the reality of God with us. Courage replaces fear. God is greater than all the forces that threaten the life of the disciples then and now, all human life. And so when people are facing a critical event, do we not pray? When making wrong choices or making the wrong decisions, afraid of an unsuspected outcome, or when we get sick or lose employment, or life is threatened by forces outside their control, do we not cry out to God? God is not a fallback belief. God is not a plan B. If they get well, or they find work, or their relationships are reconciled, or when forces of threats subside, isn't God reachable? His life-saving hand reaching towards us, lifting us up. Peter does not ask to walk on the water. I think that's important to know. He requests that Jesus command to him to come on the water. A journey even deeper into Christ. A journey that entails the overcoming of fear, the courage not to be afraid. Jesus responds with one word, come. His hand reaching out to all of us. And so Peter courageously obeys. And with his eyes on Jesus, he is a fearless walker of the waves. But then, aware of his surroundings, a shift from Jesus to the strength of strong winds. These things fill his mind, captures his emotions, and he becomes frightened. Fear takes over. Fear engulfs him. He cries out to the Lord. And so Jesus immediately stretches out his hand, as God often does, to save him as well as us. And so to Peter, you of little faith, why did you doubt? Jesus helps Peter to understand. Peter has faith. He has discerned the spiritual presence of Jesus. He has the courage to accept it, to try to live it. But he has not learned perseverance. His doubting allowed what threatened him to capture his mind and heart more completely, what would calm him. Jesus was replaced by the preoccupation of externals, the wind. And so Peter, brothers and sisters, this gospel event is the adventure in faith. We try to stay focused on God's saving presence so that resistant forces do not capture us, do not defeat us. Fear captures the mind. Fear becomes doubt when it pulls the mind out of God's presence. We may become afraid when we lose our focus. For example, we are struggling for peace, seeking leaders in our nation, for more educational opportunities and academic excellence in our nation, for more comprehensive and respectful health care for the people in our nation, for less crime, for fair and just business practices, for human models for life, for less hypocritical religion. When we try to bring heaven to earth, that's the cross we bear. But becoming afraid may be the fear of failure, or having dreamed that you're thinking too large. Violence, ignorance, greed, injustice, and inhumanity are winds stronger than we originally thought. Overcoming our better efforts of ourselves and of others. And so perseverance is to be worked on. It's lesson of faith, perseverance for us to keep on going and not give up. May God be with us always and in all ways. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he turn his face to you and have mercy upon you. May he turn his countenance to you and give you his peace. And may the Lord bless you, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.